Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently working on our final mission on the ISS, and we need to install our iRosa solar panels out over here. So we're going to have Bill EVA, and I don't know that there's anything to grab over there either. There probably isn't. We are simply just going to fly on over, but first I want to remove our solar panels from here. Yes, it is indeed laggy. Oh, I intended to actually remove these, but I never got around to it. Okay, well that's fine. We need to remove our solar panels from here and place them somewhere a little bit more accessible. So that would be somewhere like up over, yeah, that's slightly out of range. Up over here, I guess, is fine. So we'll just move them up, and this will be kind of an incremental move. So there's one. Boy, this is laggy. It's a very good thing this is the end of the ISS, because it's getting increasingly laggy. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to put a solar panel here, and then we've got 2 more to go. Eventually, it'll get caught up. There we go. Now I'm grabbing this solar panel. Got it. And we can deposit this guy right here. That'll do for now. And then we just need our 4th solar panel. So once the game gets caught up, we will need to pivot the camera a bit so we can see it. And it should be the one that is right up over here. Yep, there it is. So we'll just grab that. Fantastic. And we'll just place this guy right about here for now. We're going to need to move these further over, of course, but that is fine for the moment. So we'll just place that there, and now we're going to need to move these over. On this side, it should be a little easier to place them, especially with the way the solar panels are right now. But we'll just let go, RCS on. I'm not sure if RCS turned on there. I don't think it did. Now it's definitely on. Okay. So we're just going to make our way up over this direction. We don't really want to destroy the existing solar panels, of course, so we're going to need to kill a little bit of momentum here, and we're a little further on the other side than I thought we were. Okay, I guess this is reasonably fine, but I'd like to be a little bit on the other side of this guy. Cool. So somewhere around here or so. Looks good. I'd like to be a little closer here to be able to grab that solar panel, which we now can. Perfect. I want to grab this furthest solar panel, and I would like to put that there. Beautiful. So that's 1 installed. We'll have to wait for the game to get caught up, of course. And then we'll need to get the solar panel onto the other side. I want to grab this one, as that is the next furthest. And we want to deposit that guy right about... Ooh, that was correct. Right about there. Should be good. And now we're going to need to move the existing solar panels further this way, and we should probably furl these solar panels. That would probably be for the best. Why can't I grab this one? Maybe I can, and it just wasn't highlighted. Yes. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to put that there temporarily. And we're going to need to move this one over too. I like how some things here are definitely at a jaunty angle. There's no doubt about that. It's fine. It'll do. This doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. Okay, I'll just place this here for now. Cool. We can't furl these solar panels from this mode, can we? We have to swap over to the ISS, I believe. As soon as the game gets caught up, we'll find out. Oh, we can. Okay. Maybe we can't. No, we definitely can. So I'm going to retract these solar panels for sure. We want them out of the way. And I want these out of the way too. So we're going to need to retract this one as well as this one for sure. We might, well, actually this one's not necessary. We definitely needed to retract this one. Okay. So now we should be able to be in position to place these. So I'm going to grab this guy right about here. That looks correct. And the 4th one. As soon as the game gets caught up, we'll put that in. Okay, that took a moment, but let's grab this guy. There we go. And this is going to go right here in this orientation. Cool. So that should be all of our IROSAs installed now. So what we want to do next, of course, is make our way back into the Falcon, or rather the Dragon capsule. So let's do exactly that. We can exit Kerbal construction mode. I don't know what this orientation is. Okay. Bill decided to take a bit of a nap there. But now we can just head on over this way. Fantastic. That installation went extremely smoothly. Extremely smoothly. So, we can now not overshoot here. There we go. And let's head on in over this direction. I believe, yeah, it's over on this side. So we need to hop back into the capsule here. And at this point, we are virtually done here, but I want to get all of the radiators and such extended before we leave. So we're just going to hop right on in here. Fantastic. Grab on and hop in as soon as we can. Have to go down a bit? Sure. Okay, we'll board there, and that seems good. So we're now in the ISS, and we should be able to extend these solar panels back out. We really don't need our ascent guidance window open. We can get rid of that, and we can extend all of these guys. Excellent. So this is our ISS in basically its completed configuration. I don't plan on doing any additional configuration changes for this. We can definitely extend out these thermal control systems, which we've mostly left idle, but we can certainly get going on them. So this one can get extended, and there should be one on the back here as well. Yep. So we can get that extended, and we can get that extended. Perfect. Now, these radiators, we can't really extend while we're docked here. So we're going to have to do that after we leave, but we can extend these radiators out. Phenomenal. And are there any radiators on the American side of the station that we need to extend? I don't think that there are. I think we're good on that side. And on the Russian side, I believe we've already extended our radiator over there. Yep, so that looks good. We do have some radiators out on this side, of course, if the frame rate allows us. Cool. So we can just get all of these. I'm not sure that this one actually started extending. There we go. We can get all of these going. Where is the other radiators here? There should be one more over here that I'm missing. Here it is. So we'll extend that. We'll extend this one. We'll extend this one. Excellent. So we are almost done here. All we need to do now is bring our Dragon capsule back. So I'm going to undock us here. There we go. Whoa, what is that rotation? That was very spicy. Okay, let's pull back away from the station a bit here. This does not appear to be pulling back from the station. Hang on. I believe we're on the station. Yes, yes we are. Okay, let's pull back from the station here. Just a little bit. I'm going to have the station stop RCSing. Thank you very much. You can stop that. And we are then just going to pull back away from the station a bit here. That was an awkward undocking, no doubt about it. But let's just do that, and let's head over to orbital retrograde. And we can close up our shielded docking port. And we can also close our service bay. Okay. While we are making our way out of there, I do want to extend these last 3 radiators. Excellent. And there we go. That is basically our completed station. Some things are a little askew, there's no doubt about that, but it's mostly okay. Like, this section out over here is definitely askew. There's certainly no doubt about that. And this solar panel is a bit jaunty. The Canadarm is way too big, but it's all fine. It is all absolutely fine. So this direction is retrograde. Let's warp until we are a little bit more clear. There we go. And now we can fire our Super Draco thrusters to help us deorbit. I'm also firing our RCS here, and we can see our periapsis height changing. Excellent. Super Draco's firing now. It will be loud. And farewell station for what may well be the final time. We may do some more things with the station. We may use this as like a refueling outpost for the Artemis program, but that's not how that's actually going to work in reality. Oh, those are loud. Okay, so that's not how that's actually going to work in reality, but we may end up doing that. I don't think it'll be necessary, though. We are going to need to get started on our Starship and our SLS projects fairly soon here, and I think we'll start with SLS. That'll be the easier design, no doubt about that. I've already built SLS in the past. I believe I did that on stream when I was still doing that, and that was definitely an experience. SLS is just a solid rocket, right? Its main problem is it's just super expensive. But SLS is a good rocket. That is for sure. So off we go. Goodbye ISS, goodbye lack of frame rate. It'll be very nice to have frame rate again. And we certainly will have frame rate again. So we're up to about 1.5 kilometers from the ISS, almost, and moving away from it at a reasonable rate. We're of course still working on a deorbit, and with RCS only, that is definitely a bit on the slow side. No doubt about that, but it's absolutely fine. So 1.8 kilometers from the station now. And all is looking good on that front. It'll unload in about 5 kilometers. And we can always visit the station again if we need to, right? For whatever purpose we might need to. It's easy enough to get to. No doubt about that. For the time being, I'm going to leave it in orbit. We might deorbit it at the very end of the series, but that'll be good. So it's going to unload right about now. It's in fact unloading as we speak. There we go. Okay, so we're going to physics warp, and oh, it's so nice to have a frame rate. So nice to have a frame rate. That's for sure. As I've said before, I'm really hoping for that to be the big upgrade in KSP2 when we switch over to that, which, as I've also said before, is very soon. I intend to switch to KSP2 after this series, which is going to end after the Artemis program, so very soon indeed. Very, very soon. Bringing this down to 150 kilometers, we do need to continue to deorbit this. And this is another benefit, by the way, that KSP2 would bring. The ability to physics warp faster than 4x. That would be very nice right now. No doubt about that. But we're just going to bring this down to about -60. And that'll be absolutely fine. We can ditch our trunk section basically whenever, but we probably want to keep our electric charge around. We are going to get charged back up from our solar panels here in just a moment. And there we go. Full electric charge. Sounds great. And we're down to about 50 kilometers. 40 kilometers. It's painfully slow. There's no doubt about that. But I kind of love it with how painfully slow deorbiting this is. Like, I don't know. It's so painful that it loops back around to being amazing again for me. I don't know. It's very strange. This is our final Falcon launch, right? So we're not going to have any further of these. And I just kind of like it. It's a very leisurely return from orbit. That's for sure. We're currently at -20 kilometers. We're angling for -60, as usual. There's -30. -40. -50. Now. And finally, -60. Beautiful. It takes us 10 minutes to do that deorbit burn without time warp. That is exciting. No doubt about that. I'm going to warp us down towards the atmosphere here. Waiting until we get to about here or so. I'm going to point us to surface up. And let's get rid of our trunk section. There we go. And surface velocity minus. Fantastic. We can warp again. And in we come. This looks like a water landing to me. We'll physics warp our way on through this. And that looks absolutely great. So as far as testing regimens go, I'm not expecting a significant SLS testing regimen, to be clear. I am expecting a significant Starship testing mechanism. Are we going to be doing return to launch site and grabbing of the Super Heavy booster? Probably not, if I had to be honest. We'll probably do like we did with the Falcon 9 and just try to recover it by landing it onto the ground. Most likely. So chutes are out here, and that'll all be fine. The main problem with that is, well, Starship has 6 engines, right? I need to look into all of those details. It's been a while since I've followed that. But I believe Starship has 3 surface-optimized, or rather pressure-optimized engines, and 3 vacuum-optimized engines. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. So that would work absolutely fine. We could definitely do that. The question is, how would we reserve the fuel for it? And there's also the fact that there's a different model of Starship for landing on the moon. Now, I don't know what the status on development of that is. It's been a while since I heard an update on that. We'll recover this and get our payment. But that's going to be very, very interesting overall. So as far as that goes, Starship uses a huge amount of engines on its first stage. Let me pull up some reference material on that. So let's see here. Starship. Fantastic. This is a generic Starship. Okay, there we go. This is more like it. So the first stage uses 33 Raptor engines. So the Raptor engine is the upgraded engines from what we were using on the Falcon 9. That's a lot of engines. We might not use that number of engines, to be perfectly honest. It's probably, frankly, too many engines. I do want to get our payment for that last mission, and we are going to be fairly low on payments from here on out. We're only going to get payments after a successful Artemis mission, which Artemis 1 is an uncrewed SLS mission around the moon and back. Artemis 2 is a crewed SLS mission around the moon and back. And then I believe Artemis 3 is a landing on the moon. So we're going to have to start up with designing SLS at this time, and Starship is going to be a future component of this. So that is definitely going to be... Well, the space launch system should be pretty easy for us to set up, right? Like, let's take a quick look here. It is something along the lines of this. Pretty basic. We've got the big orange tank from the space shuttle, tapers down a little bit, and then we've got... Is this the second stage here? I think I would interpret this as being the second stage, and fuel for the second stage, and yeah, the launch escape tower. All pretty basic stuff as far as that goes. It's powered by 4 space shuttle main engines, and that is easy enough. So I think we're going to start this off with something like a Mark 1-3 command pod. But this is going to have to get even bigger. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to put a launch escape tower here, and that is going to be under utility. So we're going to put in a launch escape system right there. And then as far as recovering this goes, this is the Orion capsule here. That's not necessarily intended... Well, it is intended for recovery. It's a strange system that is going to be happening here. No doubt about it. So we're going to put in a couple of radial mount drogue chutes here. I'm going to do a couple of radial mount parachutes here as well. That is unfortunately blocking our hatch, and so we don't want to do that. Maybe just something kind of like this. That should do. Okay, so next up, we're going to need our spacecraft bits, right? So we can have a little bit of a like service bay here. I don't expect to put too much into that, but just something along the lines of this. And then as far as the spacecraft itself goes, I'm going to have a small fuel tank here. So, I mean, this is small for a 2.5 meter, right? So like a X208. And then I want a fairly small engine here. Something like a Terrier would maybe be a little too small. I don't think this has a 2.5 meter variant. We could certainly use a Poodle here. A Corgi would be too big. We could certainly use a Poodle here, and we might want to have this be a single, kind of like this. So this would be the actual spacecraft, and the question is, as we do all of this, setting up our staging for that, how much delta V would this be in orbit? Because this needs to be a fair amount of delta V up here, or at least we need the delta V in the second stage. So we can currently see that this is 474 at sea level. What if it was in vacuum? 1845. That is a pretty good amount. All we need this to do is be able to get to the moon and rendezvous with a starship and return, right? That's going to be the idea. So this should be sufficient for that task. We are, of course, going to want to have a heat shield here. That would be pretty important. So put in a 2.5 meter heat shield and a 2.5 meter decoupler here. So this will be our spacecraft. We'll need another decoupler here. And where did this decoupler end up going? There. I want this to be a little separate. So something along the lines of this. That does drop down our amount of delta V to 1363. Okay. We may want to expand our... Actually, we may want to get rid of our service bay and expand our fuel here. That may not be the worst idea, just to make sure we absolutely have enough. So that would be like an X16, something like this. Okay, so that basically gets us, when looking at the SLS here, that basically gets us down to here, right? So this is then going to adapt out to a larger size, which is going to be basically the big orange tanks, except this is going to have to go to the Kerbal size. So my question then is, at the Kerbal size, so these S3 tanks, right? At this size, we can make them orange. Okay, so that'll work. We'll need an adapter here. I'd like this to be a fuel adapter. So this will need to be a large fuel adapter. I don't know if they make that size. Yeah, these are all quite small. Definitely not that one. Rockamax brand is not what we're looking for. We want a Kerbal adapter, right? So let's see here. We have Mark III to 1.25 meter. Definitely not what we want there. This is not the size that we want either. I'm not sure if this adapter even exists in the base parts. There's this guy, which of course doesn't quite do what we want. What we want is the next size up. And I don't think that that exists. Which is sad. Yeah, none of these are the correct adapter size. So that unfortunately means we're going to have to jump this out in size, which is very, very sad. So we can pretend that this guy is our adapter, and then beyond that, we'll need to grab ourselves another Kerbal fuel tank. This is going to be a smaller one. And that is going to be, essentially, if we go back into here, that's going to be this tank, and then I'm reading this as being our engine. So that would be reasonably fine. We could put in, say, a Corgi here. I want to check the specific impulse of Corgi, which is 355, and compare that to the Poodle, which is... I'm blind right now. I'm not actually seeing it. Here it is. The Poodle is 350. Okay, so yeah, we want to run the Corgi here, and 3.75 meter is okay. So it's going to be something kind of like that. We're going to need then a 37 decoupler. So that'll be this guy. Can we change that coloring? No, sadly. So it'll end up being something like this. I really don't like this lack of adapter here. I really, really don't like that. But we may not have an option. We'll see. So I want to have this be Kerbal. So The biggest tank that we can get is the S3 7200, right now anyway. We might actually just be lacking technology for that. I'm going to save this as the SLS, and we are going to hop out. It seems like there is an adapter for that. So let's go see real quick here. If that is the case, then we might be able to grab it, although I think we're going to be kind of low on science. We'll see. Okay, loading up here, let's hop into R&D, and we would be looking for... Yeah, this is what we want. This will cost us $550, so we need like 46. I'm going to hop into the administration building, and we're going to potentially outsource some R&D here. How much science is this going to get us? Actually, we need to do the... There's one of these. Definitely. Outsourced R&D gives us the science income for each fund. What we actually want is we want the science immediately. I think there is one. Takes 5% science gains from contracts. Is there not one to just immediately sell out the cash for science? I thought for sure there was one. Maybe not. Maybe not. This does have quite a big setup cost, no doubt about it. Yields 1 science for each 12,209.78 funds. You know what? We can do it via the cheat menu because we're not using contracts anyway. So a lot of this stuff is just not usable for us. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, how much science do we need? The answer is we need 46. So 46 science multiplied by 12,209.78 gives us about 600,000. 561,649 and 88 cents. Okay. So we're going to say 600,000 for that science. So here's what I'm going to do. In the cheat menu, I'm going to add in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to round it. And we're going to subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 7 because we rounded that up. Okay, so something along the lines of that. That gives us our science, and we just paid for the science with cash. I'm pretty sure that does exist in here somewhere. I'm not immediately seeing it. But yeah, we can't actually interact with that. So that's the way we're going to do that. We're just trading it over as if we had done that with contracts, which we simply can't do, right? So we'll hop into the R&D, and that gives us high performance fuel systems. This is what we want. So we're going to research that. We'll leave the facility and we'll head into the VAB. That gives us the parts that we actually need to create this. Now, most of this is already good to go. Like, what we've built so far is mostly good. I do want to drop this tank here, and we're going to use a different adapter. So that is going to end up being the Kerbal S3, S4. Nope, not that one. That is going to end up being one of these adapters. This we're going to use at the bottom, definitely. I thought for sure that the Kerbal S3, S4 adapter was the correct adapter, but it is absolutely not. There is... I thought that I saw that there were 3 adapters in here. This is the right color of adapter. This is basically what we want here. But this is the Kerbal S3 fuel tank. Hang on. It might be named something slightly differently. Okay, I want to go into fuel tanks here, and let's see what we've got here. So we've got the S4 fuel tanks here. That's all well and good. But I do think that we want to be... Well, actually, hang on. Is this S4 sized? It is. Okay, so we do want to be up on the S4 size. So what that allows us to do is use the S3, S4 adapter here. Although we're going to want to move that down, right? We're going to want that to be about here. And then we want another adapter here. And that is, I think, this adapter. Yes. That's what we want. And now we want to get rid of this S3 part. And we want to be using the S4 smaller tank, which will be like this guy. And can we size this up? No, we can't. Okay, so this is going to be potentially problematic for us. I do want this to be a smaller tank if we can get there. This is the S3 tank. Okay, I want just to see S4 parts. Yeah, this is the size that I want here. So I want this size, and then as far as engines go, the Corgi is a little on the small side, believe it or not. So there is that. What vacuum optimized engine fits the S4 size? Let's see here. There's the Boar here. There is, I mean, as far as S4 size, there's like the Mammoth is even too small, right? So that's fine. We would like to have the larger Corgi size. That would be ideal. But that doesn't exist. Can the Poodle scale up like that? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the Poodle cannot. So this might just end up being too small. We might want to have this section be S3 sized. And then go to S4. That's not how it works in reality. In reality, it's actually a straight line from there. We could do it that way, though. I don't like it. I would prefer to have it be like this. So I guess we're going to have to do the Corgi here, and then the 3.75 meter, or actually the even larger decoupler. So we would need the TD50 decoupler. Unfortunately, it's going to end up being this. There's going to be a little bit of leeway there. That is very sad. I would prefer it not be like that. Okay, so let's lift this on up. We can maybe see about changing out that engine here in a little bit, but I want to get at least a vaguely functional model of this. We're going to use the 512 in big orange tank mode. And the question is, how many big orange tanks here do we want? Honestly, I think it's only the one big orange tank. Then we're going to use this guy in... This is the mode it has to be in. I wanted it to be actually white, but black and white will work. And then we're going to use 4 vectors, in theory, Space Shuttle main engine engines, right? So we would adapt, or rather attach these guys right about here. This is not attaching to the correct position. Okay, that's kind of correct. These seem tiny. We might have to use mainsails for this. I think we do have to use mainsails for this. We're probably not going to have the thrust. We do, however, want these to be in compact mode. So we would do something kind of like that. Okay, what is our thrust to weight here? 1.19, but we're going to have some side boosters as well. And how high up do those boosters go? They go up to about here when you include the nose cone. Okay, so we're going to put in a couple of radial decouplers right here on the non-fuel line side. So I'm going to do it about like that. We're going to put in some probably Clydesdales. Yeah, that's about right for size. And then we would move these guys right on down to be about on par here. About there should do. And then we'll need nose cones on top of that. So that is going to end up being, I think, this size of nose cone. They're a little short on the nose cone front. I'm broadly okay with the setup that we have here, with one major exception. Now, I do want to merge these together, like so. 1.53, okay, that's better. We could do something inside of here. Okay, we want 4 attached nodes. So it'll be something like this. How long is the burn time here? 86 seconds and then 67 seconds. That's probably reasonably okay. The main issue that I have with this right now is this engine. So we could potentially go for something larger than that. Potentially. We would need a larger engine. And, or at the very least, we would need a larger, like, decoupler fairing, right? That would be ideal. I'd like this to be orange as well. This is something that would be solvable in KSP2, for sure. What do we have for engine parts here? I think Corgi is the largest vacuum optimized engine that we have available. And this is in 3.75 meter mode. We need 5 meter mode. That's definitely a thing. So what we could do, well, first off, we're going to want to put struts in here. No doubt about that. So we'll put a strut there, and then we'll move this up, and I'll also strut it up here, just to make sure that's holding together. I would also like to, I'd like to solve this problem another way, but we can do something like this. Yeah, this problem should be solved another way. We're also going to toss in right up over here. I want to toss in some solar panels as well as a remote guidance unit. So this is going to be, I believe, an XL nope, not an XL, an L remote guidance unit. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so that'll be fine. And then a couple of smallish solar panels, probably like just 1x6s. We don't need anything too fancied there. So something like that would do the trick. Okay, so we have the thrust to weight to lift off. We probably have enough to get into orbit here, I would guess. We can consolidate together these, and that should be absolutely fine. Yeah, this should be more than sufficient, I think, to get us to the moon. Definitely more than sufficient. Like, looking at this right now, surface level, we have 5140 meters per second. We bump this up, and our overall count gets so much better. So much better. 10,000 in total. So that should be more than sufficient there. The main thing that I do not like here is the paint job on this Kerbal engine cluster adapter tank. There's not much we can do about that. And then there's this Corgi. I'm going to take a look through the other engines off camera. We'll see if there's anything that fits better. I don't think anything like the Boar would, but we'll see. It is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to send this thing on its test voyage around the moon. We shouldn't need to do significant testing beyond that. It should be absolutely fine. We'll double check the staging. And like I said, I'll see if there's anything we can do about this situation. I don't like this dropping down in fairing size. As far as I know, we don't have a vacuum optimized engine available for this. There might be one in the research though. I'm going to hop over and grab that check real quick. We're not going to grab it because we don't have the science, but that is reasonably fine. We might be able to send back some science from a location like the ISS if we were to send up somebody to process in that lab. That is a theoretical option, but let's see what we've got here. Let's see, nanolathing, metamaterials, hypersonic flight, aerospace tech, advanced motors. Yeah, I think we have all the engines. I'm pretty sure we do, except for maybe like the ion propulsion, which we're not interested in right now. Yeah, so this gives us access to the Vector, the Corgi, the Boar, the Mastodon, which that might be an interesting one. It's not hugely vacuum optimized. Wait a sec, the Wolfhound only goes up to 2.5 meter. Okay. The Rhino is 340 in vacuum. That's not that big of a loss, actually. 3.75 meter and compact. It's not big enough. Well, I'll run some tests on that and see what we've got available. And next episode, we'll send the SLS to its first mission. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.